Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit more shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin, and we're also going to be using that shorter-term TA to build into some longer-term technical analysis here on the Bitcoin market. Because if you guys will remember back to a couple of weeks ago, we did a video on something called a bump and run reversal bottom, and you guys may remember both of these screens if you indeed saw that video. In that video, we discussed a reversal pattern called, you guessed it, the bump and run reversal pattern. And we talked about what would need to play out on the Bitcoin chart for that type of reversal pattern to play out and actually see Bitcoin move into a rally, or in our case, a bull market on into potentially a bull run. Guys, I have an update for you because that pattern has played out perfectly. It has followed the textbook exactly. Bitcoin is trading around $5,900, testing resistance on $6,000 as we speak, knocking on the door of a bull market. Guys, this is a big update. You're going to want to see this video. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it, guys. The first thing that we want to do is, since I failed to upload a video yesterday, I do want to go ahead and do a little bit more shorter-term technical analysis and discuss what happened while I was away. I've been very busy, guys. I do apologize. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. The channel is going to be getting a lot of improvements and a lot of upgrades coming over the next couple of weeks, so give me time to work on those. I do apologize for that. Either way, Bitcoin over these last couple of weeks rallied, and we came up here and tested this uptrend of resistance 3 times. Once, twice, thrice, and then Bitcoin fell over, and from there it actually looked like Bitcoin was going to enter a downtrend. All the technicals would have pointed at this time to Bitcoin moving to the downside, but instead what Bitcoin did is it defied all expectation, as it so often does, and we moved to the upside. And in fact, if we come in here to the 15-minute, that kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here, something like this that saw us move to the upside. Definitely something to keep an eye on. But Bitcoin from there rallied all the way up here and tested this level of resistance again, and on the 4th time was the charm indeed. Bitcoin broke out of it, and we came all the way up to around $5,966. From there, we've actually been trading on this uptrend as a level of support rather than a level of resistance. Definitely a bullish development. Bitcoin has tested this uptrend many times, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and in each of those tests, we had many smaller tests like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bitcoin getting above this uptrend of resistance is a very big deal. The next major level of resistance that we're going to be looking at is, of course, $6,000, because if we zoom in here, what we're going to find is that this uptrend is, well, as you might expect, still uptrending, and that uptrend is going to run into $6,000. So in the future, not too long from now, in the next week or so, Bitcoin is going to have to decide whether or not it wants to break back below this uptrend of support, or if it wants to actually break $6,000. If Bitcoin breaks $6,000, I'm calling a bull market, guys. That's one of the last confirmations I'm looking for that to happen. If it conclusively breaks above that and stays up there for a couple of days, closes some daily candlesticks, a bull market is started. Bitcoin is very, very close to that. But if Bitcoin falls back below here, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'd have some kind of correction. At this point, since we're so close to 6K, I think any kind of correction would be short-lived. But that's what we're looking at. But I want to point out exactly what's happened here. These two bottoms right here. Because when we're looking at the hourly chart, we can't see how significant this is. You have to zoom out to the daily chart and understand the bump and run reversal bottom that we discussed back on April the 14th or 15th, whichever day that video went out. In that video, if you look over here on this picture right here, from the textbook, from Bulkowski's textbook here, if you look at this, we see that there is that downtrend that I'll show you here in just a second. And after that downtrend, Bitcoin, or chart, but in our case, Bitcoin comes up and tests that downtrend of resistance, rejects, gets above it, throws back to the trend line, as it says right here, and then goes on the run. That's called the run part of the bump and run reversal bottom. Well, guys, let's go ahead and look out here on the 4-hourly chart. Actually, we'll look out on the daily chart for Bitcoin and go ahead and draw our bump and run reversal bottom. If we come out here and do that, what we're going to find is we have our downtrend right here that we discussed in previous videos. But guys, check this out. Take a look at this. Let's look at this on the 4-hourly chart. It'll be a little clearer. Look at this on the 4-hourly chart. Bitcoin has come and tested that level of resistance exactly how it was supposed to. Come up here and test it once, twice. And then, as we saw on the textbook over here, it eventually broke through it. We broke through it. And then, what have we had here over these last couple of days? We've had that little quote that it says in the textbook, the throwback to the trend. Right here, these two bottoms right here, around $5,500, this was the throwback to the trend that we're seeing here in this textbook. Guess what happens next? Gigantic run happens next. That's what is supposed to happen next if we continue following the bump and run reversal pattern. So far, it is played out literally verbatim matching the textbook. It looks almost identical. Take a look at this chart right here. This is what the chart looks like on Bitcoin. This is what the chart looks like in the textbook. That looks almost identical. Bitcoin has downtrended. It fell off the cliff, went through the bump phase, traded sideways for a little bit. We came up, we broke through the downtrending level of resistance. We got support on it on our throwback, and now, based on the bump and run reversal bottom, and also, by the way, based on all of our other technical analysis, and as B.Biddles actually says here, based on all of the fundamentals, let's go ahead and find out where he says this tweet. Full credit to him for finding this. Everybody really didn't know about this until he brought this up. He talks about somewhere down here, I forget it, I can't seem to find it right now, but somewhere down here he talks about how he believes that, here it is. Important note, the pattern is still unfolding and could fail, blah, blah, blah. This is before it actually happened. That said, this is what he said back on the 14th, that today is the 7th of March, so this was, excuse me, May, so this was about 3 weeks ago. Combined with the bullish fundamentals, adoption, positive press, my leaning is still upwards. And that's been my leaning for quite some time, is that at the very worst, Bitcoin has some kind of minor correction and then a bull run. That's what he said, and I completely agree with him. Based on those bullish fundamentals, based on the adoption, based on the positive press that Bitcoin's been getting, based on also, I'll add to that, some of these major institutions stepping into the market, a lot of regulatory clarity coming into the market. Every day that passes, the legal framework around Bitcoin gets more and more clear, which makes the space a lot more friendly to business. Everything is improving for Bitcoin. It's doing nothing but getting better right now. There's not really a whole lot of bad stories coming out of Bitcoin. Things are just looking up, to be totally honest. And because of all of that, because of what B.Biddle says here, I think that this bump and run is going to play out. With that said, it may take a couple days for Bitcoin to trade sideways. Maybe Bitcoin does go ahead and trade sideways in this little pennant that is kind of formed here, this little pseudo pennant. This is one that was formed by already established trend lines. So this is a bit different than a normal pennant because it didn't define itself. It was already defined. But if this does break bullish, or even if it breaks bearish and Bitcoin comes and breaks bullish over the rest of this month, at this point, guys, I think within the next 60 days, Bitcoin is going to be above $6,000. And if I'm being totally honest and not being careful with what I say, I think there's a pretty good chance within the next 30 days, within this month, that we're going to see Bitcoin above $6,000. And like I said, guys, all Bitcoin really needs to do is stay above $6,000 for a couple of days, set some daily candlesticks up there, come down and test $6,000 as a level of support and defend that. The bulls defend that as a level of support. And we're basically in the beginning of a bull market, guys. As you guys may or may not remember, we're above the 50 weekly moving average. Let's go ahead and see this. Well, for one, actually, we have a golden cross right here, which actually starts bull markets. If you go back in history, just about every time one of these happens, a bull market is not too far away. But also on the weekly chart, that 50 weekly moving average is incredibly important. And as you guys can see, we have closed a weekly candlestick above it. Today's, what's today? Wednesday? Today's Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and Bitcoin has come up and tested this, broken above it, managed to close this weekly candlestick above it as of yesterday. And that's a big deal, because Bitcoin has not done that in a very long time. Bitcoin has not broken above this level and closed a green candlestick. We didn't actually see it happen once over here in the bear market. The last time that Bitcoin actually broke bullish above the 50 weekly moving average, you guessed it, was at the beginning of the last bull market, guys. And that has only ever happened one other time in Bitcoin's history. The other time that happened was actually at the beginning of a Bitcoin bull market. Actually, we saw one over here, but this was very clearly a fake out. I don't think we're in the same situation right now. Guys, everything's looking up. I think a bull market's going to be starting this month or next month at the latest. At the very least, it's going to happen this year. Maybe something happens. Maybe some wild card gets thrown at us. Whatever may happen, I think we're going to break $6,000 relatively soon. One of the reasons I say that, by the way, is also because Bitfinex has already broken $6,000. Bitcoin on Bitfinex has been above $6,000 for several days now. And the fact that Bitcoin has been above 6K on Bitfinex is it's a result of the way that Tether works when you're trading over US dollars, quote-unquote US dollars on Bitfinex, but also the fact that one of the largest exchanges in the cryptocurrency market, as many problems as we may have with Bitfinex, it is a very large exchange, and because its chart is reading $6,000, that's going to drag the rest of the charts up. And if we were to go look at CoinMarketCap here for a second, I'll go ahead and bring it up. If we go ahead and look at CoinMarketCap here, what we're going to find is that Bitcoin is trading right below $6,000, very close to being below $6,000, and if Bitcoin does in fact break that, that's going to be a very big deal. And by the way, if you saw that pop up, I use ad blocker while we're recording the video so that ads don't show up in the videos. I normally have that off when the videos are not being recorded, in case you're wondering about that. But either way, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. I do want to mention that actually, no, there's nothing I want to mention. I just want to say congratulations if you've been here with me and with the channel here for the duration of this bear market. I think that we're pretty much done with it. I think that it's pretty close to being over. And guys, the Bitcoin market is about to start heating up. Things are about to start getting crazy. Get ready, because if you weren't here during the last bull market, you have no idea what we're about to see happen. It's going to be crazy. I don't want to spread FOMO. I know what I just said probably does spread a little bit of FOMO, but honestly, guys, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of excitement in times like this. Just be careful with your trading as always. Don't get emotional. Don't let your emotions run high. Just because we're excited for a bull market to start does not mean that we change our trading. It does not mean that we go and start trading based off of emotion and instead of technical analysis. Always be very careful with your trading. Always do it based off of technical analysis and your gut feeling, not your emotion. It's very important that you're able to discern those two things and use that to your advantage. Guys, I'm very much looking forward to this. The Bitcoin market is going to start heating up, and so too is this channel. I have a lot of changes coming to the channel that to be quite honest, I've been waiting for the bull market to come around before I wanted to implement them. The videos are going to start getting even more higher quality. We're going to start having background music. We're going to start having edits. We're going to have an editor. We're going to start building out the CryptoJeb team. We're probably going to start doing 2 videos a day, but don't hold me to that. That's a little ways down the road. We're going to have another product launch along with CT2A that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. That is a couple months out, though, for right now. But anyway, guys, that's basically going to do it for today's video. I very much look forward to the remainder of 2019, and thank you guys for sitting through this bear market with me. I don't want to put a bow on it and say it's over yet because things can always change. But I think more likely than not, we're about to start a bull market. So let's pop the champagne corks prematurely, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.